But first, start with the 2020 race with 3 months left. Joe Biden is polling ahead of President Trump in a number of swing states Trump carried 4 years ago. But the former vice president is still campaigning in a post-COVID America. How will he and the Democrats ensure turnout they need as his opponent attacks in voting, voter fraud, and noise elections verdict? Joining me now, Biden for President Senior Advisor Symone Sanders. How are you this evening, Ms. Sanders? Thank you for being with me.
I'm good, Rev. Thanks for having me.
What is the strategy to assure turnout? There are many that feel that this election will turn on turnout and making sure there is no suppression of the vote and no misrepresentation of the process of the vote. Does the Biden campaign have a strategy for protecting voters and turning them out?
Absolutely. Unequivocally, yes, we do have a strategy. Look, we have a very robust voter protection program running, not just nationally, but specifically in targeted states, battleground states across this country. But we're also doing voter education, Rev. And I will note that, the tweet from Donald Trump this weekend, or earlier, all my days run together now, but the tweet from Donald Trump just a couple days ago, specifically about moving the election, we know that was designed to distract away from the worst quarterly drop in GDP in this nation's history. But the reality is that, voter suppression efforts by folks all across this country and even some foreign actors is what keeps me up at night. But I am heartened by the fact that we have folks actively working on the ground to defend and protect every single American's right in this country to cast a ballot at the ballot box this November. And so that means educating folks, Rev, on that, frankly, there is no difference between voting by mail or absentee. If you're absentee voting, guess what? You are using the mail to do it. And it is an absolutely safe thing to do, but you have to know the deadlines. And so we have folks on the ground communicating that information. The anniversary of the Voting Rights Act is coming up this week on August 6th. And we will be not only talking about the life and legacy of folks like the late and great Honorable Congressman John Lewis, who fought for this right to vote and fought and was very instrumental in the civil rights struggle, but also talking about what we need to do in this election this year to ensure that we are just making it just not hard for folks to cast their ballot. Right?
Including passing of the Voting Rights Act named after John Lewis, but I'll get to that later in the show.
That's sitting on the desk of Mitch McConnell right now.
Now, so we are hearing you say there is a strategy to get turnout. There is a strategy to deal with the fact that we're in a pandemic. Hopefully, it will be gone down somewhat by the fall and November voting. But let me ask this. How do you therefore explain in your mind and the mind of the campaign why the president is even suggesting postponing the election when he legally couldn't do it anyway? It would have to be the Congress. What is your thinking that the president is trying to message with even raising this issue?
Look, I think he's doing two things. First of all, back in April, though, Vice President Biden noted that Donald Trump would try to do something like this. And at the time, Donald Trump's own aide in his campaign said that Vice President Biden was trafficking in a conspiracy theory. Well, it turns out that obviously Vice President Biden knows Donald Trump better than his own staffers do. The reality is this: Donald Trump will always try to distract. He's trying to distract us away from, again, the worst quarterly drop in GDP in our nation's history, but also his mismanagement of this pandemic. But what he is also trying to do, Rev, in casting doubt and disparagement on the election is, in fact, a form of voter suppression. And our campaign is here again. Casting a ballot in this country is not a Democratic thing or a Republican thing or an independent voter thing. It's an American thing. And the cornerstone of our elections are free, fair, and open elections where everyone in this country can participate. It is, in fact, a right that many people laid down their lives and have fought for a very long time to defend. And so we are very much so ensuring that in our state operations across the country, that our voter protection teams, along with our coordinated campaign teams, are getting the facts out to folks, when they can vote, how they can vote. You know, one of my colleagues, Ashley Allison, likes to say, we're going to either mask it up and go to the polls in a mask, because we believe that there still need to be safe in-person voting options this November across the country, or we're going to mail it in. And that means we are participating in this election via an absentee or vote by mail ballot.
All right, I'm out of time, but Symone, I've known you since you were a younger activist, and we've always had very candid, open conversations. So who is the vice president going to announce this week as his candidate?
Well, Rev, you know, I don't have any news to break for you here today, but I will say this, you know, Vice President Biden has long said that he will announce his running mate in early August. And by my clock, it's August. So early August can't be too far away. And no, whomever the vice president selects as his running mate on this campaign for this election, this pivotal moment in our history, know that this person, she will be extremely qualified, wildly experienced, and she will be the best governing partner for Vice President Biden. And I'm not confirming or denying anything I've read in the news, but I think any of the women you have heard about fit that bill.
All right. Well, you won't tell me who. Is she black?
She could be. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, a lot of people are concerned. It seems there's some concerted effort of attacking the black women under consideration. You know, I was one of the first to say I'd like to see a black woman, but I will deal with anybody on that list is fine, but I'd love to see a black woman. Symone Sanders,
Noted,
thank you for being with me tonight.